So I'm going to discuss about very briefly about the theories like Lee's pushful theory. So I think it has already been discussed, and this is very important. I think this has been working for a long period of time. When we talk of push, means the situation. Already I have discussed with you about the two situations or the two places, means place of origin and the place of destination. So if the situation at the place of origin becomes very hostile, unfavorable, definitely that situation will force the human being and people migrate. Means situation forces the person to migrate or to leave the place. So that is called push. When I think I'm just citing one example for pull theory, that when the people or the Indians or the highly skilled Indians who were educated by IITs and IIMs in the 50s, when these institutions were created, so they opted and they were I think what we call it, they were pulled or they were influenced that they went to the European countries or the North American countries to serve there. So situation means better salary, better condition, better kind of facilities pull them, and they took the decision at the time to go to that country, and that situation is still continuing. If you see this kind of push-pull theory, sometimes it is nothing but the combination of both. Sometimes one factor dominate on the other. Take the example of the Gulf migrants. So Indians have started going, or South Asians have started going to that region. Even in that case, I think push factor dominates like anything. So far as the case of neoclassical theory is concerned, I think again it is economic theory in India. So only I think wage differences becomes very important to decide whether the particular group of the people or individual has opted to go to different parts of the world or to different society or to the different economic zone for getting better job. And the facilities, migration system theory. When we talk of the system theory, I think this is very, very interesting to understand that there is a system. I think if you take the system as a whole, means social system, I think migration is become the subsystem of that one. And take the example of India and the Gulf countries. So within that system and within the corridor, people migrate, and all kind of facilities, labor or the human rights, even protection is there, welfare is there. So I think within migration system theory is very, very important. Means people migrate under a particular system and they opt to go, and all the facilities, all the things have been given. So let us now go to the other components of the sociology of migration. I think this is also very important in the parlance of sociology of migration. Here three concepts are very important. Basically, if you see the first of all, social perception, that leads to social norms, and ultimately it creates social values. So even in this situation, if you see in the journey of migration, I think it works. So here there is a system on which I think this migration or the journey of migration, sojourn of migration can be understood in a better way. I think these are the concepts through which I think first of all the social perception germinates, and that leads to social norms, values and everything. So this is very important to understand, and we can apply to understand the journey and the sojourn of migration or migration journey. So here one thing which becomes very important to understand, the social network. Here I have given one example, means the Gulf, because here to make this phenomena to understand social networking and the Gulf migration. So what is basically social region, social function, and then social migration? I think if you see the journey of the migration, I think in case of the Gulf, it all began in the early 70s when IL boom took place. I think all of a sudden there is a hike, oil hike. So all of a sudden, as a result, all these Gulf states became very rich, and they started to diversify its own economy. So they started to industrialize. So there was a need of human capital, human resource, or the manpower. So I think this kind of situation was created. I think if you see this today, I think social networking or network has become very stronger. Those Indians, those Indian communities who are over there, they have created the social networks. Many social organizations, socio-cultural organizations are working in that region. So that is very important. Many social activities or the cultural activities are run or are organized even in the Gulf countries, and if you go to other, because if you see the total number of the migrants, Indian migrants, especially to this region, already I have told you that 9 million Indians are there. If you see the total migrant workers, I think it has gone up to 18 million. So I think this is very important. So wherever they are, they have created the social region, and social functions take place within that. So I think it's I think this picture, I think shows as how to understand the journey or the creation of the social network. So it's working very properly, and ultimately there's a connection. And it basically the function or the role of the social network is very important so far as the case of the journey of Gulf migration, especially from South Asia is concerned, especially from India. So let us now go a little bit further to understand this phenomenon. Social integration and sociology of migration. These are the two very important concepts. So we need to understand social values and then social norms and the social perception. So how it works, I think this is I think if we see this picture, I think it gives a very clear picture to all this. I think time is short in the sense that time is short because this session is going to continue only for half an hour. So let me try to tell you that sociology of migration is equal to integration and assimilation. But if you see these two scenarios, I think the healthy trend to which everybody appreciates, to which we are as a sociologist, we try to promote is the integration. Issue of integration and identity. I think these are the things that are to be seen in the right perspective. Assimilation, we all know that, I think, of course, it is the ultimate one, but we appreciate integration. So these phenomena, these aspects, these concepts need to understand in the right perspective. What are the challenges in the sociology of migration? This is very important. So far we have discussed a lot about the positive aspects of the sociology of migration. So how sociology of migration understands the crisis, social crisis of social identity. The other one is social crisis and the social gap. I think these are the things which are happening in the society. Means there is a crisis, conflict, inequality, or on account of the war, on account of the conflict, that basically leads to social crisis. That is happening. See the case of West Asia, war is going on. So that has led to, I think, refuge. That has led to creation of the refugees. So many women or the children were forced to live. That it happens in case of Syrian crisis or the Syrian war, and even it also take when we also can see this kind of situation in case of Russian and Ukraine war. So I think social gap means poverty in terms of inequality, social inequality, gender inequality is being widened, and of course the identity is a serious issue. So in this globalizes, how we can understand these crises, I think this sociology of migration provides a wonderful opportunity, perspective to understand, and it will also try to understand what could be the possible solution to see, so that these kind of crisis would not be there, and we will be able to understand in the right perspective, in the sociological perspective, to give the possible solution or recommendation to the policy making, and to happen for the sustainable development goals, because this phenomena, sociology of migration, is taken as a tool or the engine for helping or in order to achieve the target of sustainable development goals. So this is all I think we need to understand. So here I would like to discuss with you whether you call it migration. Basically, migration leads to the formation of diaspora. I think we cannot make the distinction when we talk of migration or diaspora as a strategy. I think both become interchangeable. So what is the impact of migration? Basically, I am talking of this situation. So migration or diaspora, which is projecting India's, I have taken the example, India's image abroad in the right perspective. There's no doubt. I think just now we have had the very good kind of conference. So here it was one of the area to which has been discussed, and there's a study done by many people, and they have come with the idea that there is a visible change in their attitude towards migration. Means migration, we all understand those who have gone to different parts of the world, they have worked in that country, and their skill had been sharpened. When they come back to the place of origin or their labor sending countries, they have become more skilled. So in a way, and they have had the exposure of the different kind of society. So their attitude also has changed towards education, and we have also seen, because there is a study, many studies has been done. So on the basis of the studies, we have also got to know that social mobility has taken place in the migrant families, and we all know that migration takes place only for socially disadvantaged sections of the society, normally we have seen. So here social mobility has taken place, and we all know that family which was not so in the past is now welcome in the social function on account of the inflow of the remittances, and they have educated their children, and there is a poverty, and the desolated villages are certainly becoming prosperous. So this kind of situation, because there is a study at the micro level from the migrating areas, and and it can be generalized, no doubt about it. So there is a sizable proportion of houseless populations now having its own houses. So if we see this social impact of migration, I think it is positive. Of course, on the other hand, there is some sort of loneliness, and of course psychological stress it has been found in the migrants' families. This kind of situation is there. So far as the case of overall impact, I think we can say that there is a positive change, and how we can take this social phenomena in the positive way. I think if we will be able to manage this, I think we can give the possible solution, and we can take benefit out of the endeavor of migration. So in nutshell, finally what I can say, that it can be concluded that sociology of migration is a social occurrence by social values, social norms, and the social beliefs. These occurrences developed a form of social reason of migration in the perspective of the sociology of migration by the socialization of migration, where the social aspect of migration creates culture and culture leads to migration. So in these consequences, it can be also concluded migration is a social phenomenon, where social aspect of migration creates a social boundary of migration within well-developed social regions of migration, in the perspective of social implication of migration in the sustainable development of migration. So this is all I wanted to share with you. I am sure that if you watch this video, I am sure that you all are going to be benefited, and there would be motivation on the part of my deliberation, and definitely you all are going to be learnt with this lecture or with this talk or with this deliberation. So thank you so much, learners. Thank you so much.